Today, we are tackling a problem that, I think it drives everyone crazy eventually. Workplace silos. We're looking at the architecture of cross-silo leadership, a report that analyzes why, despite all our open floor plans and, Slack channels, teams still struggle to actually talk to each other.
It's a fascinating read because it starts by challenging the whole premise that silos are just these evil structures we need to smash.
Wait, hold on. Usually silo is a dirty word in business. You're saying we actually want them.
In a way, yes. The research argues silos are sort of natural defense mechanisms.
Defense mechanisms.
We build them to protect our teams from distractions and, well, to maintain focus. The problem isn't the silo itself. It's the unintended side effect. It's what they call knowledge starvation.
Okay, that makes sense. So we wall ourselves off to get work done, but then we forget to tell anyone else what we're doing. So how do companies usually try to fix this? Another reorg.
That is the standard reflex, right? Just to move the lines and boxes on the org chart. But the data shows that usually fails.
So it's not structural.
No, the real solution is behavioral. It comes down to empowering these specific types of people called cultural brokers.
Cultural brokers? That sounds a little fancy.
It's surprisingly practical. The research identifies two really distinct types. You have the bridge, and then you have the adhesive.
Okay, let's break those down. I know Moa Hennessy faced this exact nightmare. They had a classic bridge situation where marketing and sales were basically at war.
Right. And you can see why. Marketing is talking about brand purity and the wine's bouquet.
While sales just wants to know about shelf space and numbers.
They're speaking completely different languages.
So instead of forcing them into a room to yell at each other, they hired entomologists, who are basically the scientists of winemaking, to act as these bridges.
Exactly. The entomologists could translate. They could geek out with marketing about the emotional content of the wine.
And then turn around and translate that into the hard data sales needed to pitch retailers.
That is the bridge in a nutshell. A translator who helps you survive a specific project.
Okay, so the bridge gets the deal done. But what about the adhesive? You said that one's different.
The adhesive is playing a much longer game. If the bridge is the translator at a UN meeting making sure everyone understands the treaty, the adhesive is the person organizing the dinner party afterward, where the real trust gets built.
So the bridge handles the transaction, but the adhesive makes friends so you don't need a translator next time.
Precisely. They build those independent connections.
Yeah.
But to be that kind of leader, you have to overcome this psychological trap called naive realism.
Oh, I am definitely guilty of this one. That's where I assume that because I see the project as a budget issue.
The engineer who sees it as a quality issue is just objectively wrong.
Right.
That's it, exactly. It's assuming your slice of reality is the whole pie.
Yeah.
Now, translation is great for selling champagne, but what happens when the stakes are higher life and death? And the problem isn't language, but fear.
And that brings us to the Children's Minnesota Hospital case. They had to deal with medical errors, which are, terrifying for everyone involved.
Typically, when an error happens, the institution asks, who messed up? It becomes a witch hunt.
Right. Find someone to blame.
But Julie Morath, who led their turnaround, she flipped the script. She implemented something called focused event analysis.
Which sounds technical, but the core of it was just stopping the blame game.
She brought together a cross-disciplinary team, nurses, doctors, scribes, and asked them to document the event just from their unique vantage point.
The goal wasn't to pin it on a person,
but to see where the operating system failed.
Yeah.
And because it was blameless and confidential, people actually spoke up. They stopped hiding mistakes.
And that transformed the culture from defensive silence to proactive safety.
And financially, this really pays off. Heidi Gardner's research on smart collaboration shows that firms doing this earn significantly higher margins. They create this sticky client loyalty because they can solve problems no single department can handle.
But there is a catch. We have to talk about the dark side of this. It's called collaboration overload.
Or peanut buttering.
It's the curse of competence, isn't it? If you are the best bridge in the company, suddenly you're invited to every single meeting.
And you get spread so thin you can't do your actual job. And this disproportionately affects experts from underrepresented groups. If you don't protect those people, you burn out your most valuable assets.
So if we pull this all together, the goal isn't to tear down the silos.
No. True cross-silo leadership isn't about destroying boundaries. It's about building better gates. It's about using inquiry and brokerage to pass information through those walls safely.
That is a much more manageable way to look at it.
And I'll leave you with this question to consider. Look at your own role today. Are you acting as a bridge, translating for others? Are you an adhesive, building bonds for the long haul? Or are you accidentally hoarding information in your own vertical silo?
Something to think about before you send your next email. Thanks for listening.